A medicine man pronounces a dreadful curse upon you.
Hey, what's up? My last video was a 30-minute slog of me building a city, and during the process of editing that together, I came to a fascinating conclusion. I am not funny. So this video is going to be a new social experiment to see if writing my words in advance will somehow get you to stop choking down Ritalin while watching video essays on 2x speed, and instead sit quietly and patiently while I autistically explain the ins and outs of a town building, resource managing, and a native colonizing simulator made for geriatrics like me. Anno 1602 is an accurate depiction of Europe's settlement in the Americas. You find a nice looking island, mark your territory before the other settlers can, and if necessary, gently usher out any bothersome squatters. Repeat this process until you have all the necessary resources to satisfy the near infinite needs of the average white aristocrat. What's the end goal of this game? Who cares? What's the story? Read a book. You don't need to worry about things like bigger pictures or moral implications. All that matters is getting your settlers those sweet bare necessities.
The alcohol is running out.
You take command of a small sloop flying your chosen flag. There's a moderate variety of islands to pick from with different climates, sizes, and resources, but you have to make your choice quick. Otherwise you'll be stuck with a small island that can barely fit a marketplace and only has a 50% chance to successfully grow cotton. Once you reach an island, you have to scan to determine what resources it has. If you've settled an island without any iron, go ahead and reformat your hard drive and throw your computer down a flight of stairs. The resulting damage will be marginally less stressful than the next 6 hours of playing without a way to craft tools. Once you've placed down a few resource gatherers, you can start building houses for your settlers. These are the only buildings that don't require tools to build. If you're a student of history, you'll be well aware that the only reading material available on ships of this time period were the works of Marcus Aurelius. Because of this, your stoic-minded pioneers will be unbothered by you maxing out their tax rates, as a lack of wealth leaves them more time to fantasize about inviting a gladiator into their polycule. It's also a good idea to remove their access to building materials, otherwise they'll use your last remaining tools to upgrade their furnishings without asking permission. As your settlers upgrade their status, they'll feel entitled to more luxuries and less taxes, but the increased population per building means you'll still earn more overall. For a settler to upgrade, all of their needs must be met. The basic pioneers only need Jesus and education in their lives, whereas the more pretentious settlers such as merchants and aristocrats will ask for less important things like jewelry and basic sanitation. Saving up enough money and resources to afford your settlers' needs is the main goal of 1602, and it takes a very long time. Unless you progress enough to unlock the iron mine, you'll be stuck buying tools through trade routes. This means sitting and waiting for a trade ship to pass by and praying that they sell you tools at the price you requested. Otherwise you'll have to raise your buying price and wait for them to sail all the way back around the map. The further you get into the game, the more complicated the chain of resources becomes. You go from getting wood to build things made of wood, to mining iron ore, smelting it into metal pipes, and then beating those into single-use China plastic tools that break immediately after use. This requires 3 separate buildings, all of which work at different paces. So have fun seeing this symbol above all your buildings for the remainder of your playtime. Now you've probably started thinking about things like efficient building ratios or optimal city layouts, but this is the path of the foolish man. Allow me to show you the madness to my methods. This is my main civilization. It hosts a wealth of unhappy inhabitants, too many wheat farmers, only 2 lumberjacks, and we're always out of spices. This city was not built for comfort or aesthetics. It was built to feed my war machine. Combat in 1602 is impractical, esoteric. It is incompatible with the human brain's ability to reason. Because of this, every 1602 player uses the exact same battle strategy: build more ships than everyone else. This means the victor is usually decided by whoever has the best head start early on, and since I'm terrible at video games, I always end up a few stages behind the other players, human or AI. This means I'm usually the last to expand and build more cities, which leads to me being cucked on all the islands I was eyeing up and having to settle for what's left over. Because of my incompetence, I typically employ the Fabian strategy, avoiding everyone until the last possible minute and then getting crushed by the AI's superior fleet. Or if it's a multiplayer match, I lie and say I'm tired and have to work the next day. But in reality, I just don't want to witness my colony's destruction at the hands of an eloquently titled battleship. The best preventative measure you can take against getting kicked out of your 110th promised land is building more defensive walls and towers, but these typically only delay the inevitable. There's also a few ground units you can create, but they're only good for blowing up a city's landlocked buildings, so you're likely only going to see them when they're being used to finish you off. This might not seem like the most glowing review of the game's combat, and you'd be right. I don't play this game for the combat. I don't play it for the late game intense resource management. I don't even play it because I like it. I literally just can't run anything else on my laptop. But just like the settlers of old, we press onwards. When our supplies run low, we trade and scavenge for more. When our alcohol runs out, we learn to make our own. And when we have no food, we eat each other. Soon our island will be filled with happy merchants and content aristocracy, all of whom celebrate our leadership with statues and decrepit modern art sculptures. And the influence of the land's natives will be drastically cut back until centuries later when we have to apologize for all the misdeeds of our ancestors by giving them objects of great historical value for them to bury. And we can look at our modern disregard for history and knowledge, at our willingness to corrupt and obscure the truths of the past, and our unanimous agreement that everything we used to do was bad and everything we do now is better. And in our hearts, we can be content with the knowledge that our current reality was well worth the sacrifices put forth and the hard centuries endured by the explorers of old in the year of our Lord 1602. I'll be honest, I can't play any newer games until I fix my laptop, and money's a bit tight right now. I just spent the last month clipping the edges off of all my pennies, only for the government to start phasing them out. So if you want to support any of my future slop, subscribe and check me out on Twitch and Twitter. I have no set streaming schedule, but when I do stream, it's usually on Thursdays and Saturdays at 4 PM EST. So be sure to go give me a follow and then forget to ever check back in to see when I'm live. If you want to harass me on Twitter, feel free. All I do on there is tell anime girls to play Peggle Deluxe until they block me. More videos will be coming, and hopefully it won't take as long as this one. Here's a quick sneak peek of the next video.
Touche-la.